So today I couldn't help but keep thinking about just how our school system has kind of failed us, but not really the system, but just the way we approach it. Everybody's always trying to get perfect grades and nail things on the first try, but in doing that, we really miss making mistakes, and we're incentivized to not make any, which is really terrible because making mistakes is the best and honestly, in my opinion, only way to learn things. Because if you memorize something one time, even if you do good on a test and you remember it for, let's say, maybe a 2-3 week period, that's not much use, in my opinion. But if you fail something 7 times and you finally get it right, you're not going to forget that. And also, I think, like I was saying before, we kind of have our heads in the wrong place. So a lot of the time, we're after certain goals, and maybe, like in video games, we're after a bunch of items and quests, and we're always trying to get to something, and we don't really take time to appreciate the journey to get there. So, like this game, for instance, I could be off getting a bunch of items, and I could be on a quest, I could be doing some missions, but honestly, what's the point? I think this is a lot more productive, and we kind of need to look at that and apply it to our lives as well. Because while this doesn't seem like it's not getting me anywhere, I still think it's beautiful. Not many people appreciate these parts of the game or of life in general. Like the way the lighting changes, I think that's just so sick. And just taking time to live in the moment and enjoy things and appreciate the scenery and just the beauty of it. But I don't know. I was talking to my one friend the other day, and it's just burnout's been hitting pretty hard lately, especially now that I'm becoming an adult and finally having to worry about things that I never really used to. And especially with, we both play instruments, and we're both feeling burnout. It's really hard to want to learn something new and to try to go after it, but and I know we could try to force it and just to brute force our way through, but you really can't in music if the feeling's not there. And sadly, a lot of our lives are at that point too. Maybe in our education, in our appearance, in the habits that make us who we are, that we used to follow but we don't anymore. It can be easy to get tired of those things, and quite frankly, to get tired of life. And when you do, I think we really don't take enough time just to be to ourselves and think to ourselves. I know I'm saying and a lot, but there's a lot more to life than just trying to get through it. But this is beautiful. Not, like I said before, not many people take time to appreciate these things in games and just to, even in real life, just to look around and take a second for ourselves. Log off our phones, turn off our music, stop playing whatever video might be in the background, stop worrying about what we have to do tomorrow, next week, or for the rest of the day, just for a few minutes, maybe 15, maybe 30, could even just be like 10 to 15 seconds. But we need to take more time and just appreciate everything around us. And I apologize, but it may be a good thing, but I can't really think of much else to say. Just want to take this all in and start approaching my life differently than before. And I'm gonna start, oddly enough, with my approach to video games. So the game I'm playing right now is Destiny 2, and I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but usually in Destiny, you're doing missions and searching for items and going on quests, but these patrol zones, which were once useful in the game, now really don't have much to offer, but at least quest-wise, and a lot of people overlook them, and I do as well, but I really thought it would be a good idea just to appreciate the scenery, maybe spend some time to reflect, actually do something useful for once. Because even though going after like a goal or a quest or an item in this game or just in your real life, it can really be useless sometimes. Like, yeah, we still need to get after things and do what we can, but we also should really take time to appreciate it. And we shouldn't be afraid of quieting our lives for a bit. Maybe turning off your music that's constantly playing, putting your phone on Do Not Disturb for even just 30 minutes, and just thinking about your life. Not in a stressful kind of way, but just appreciating how far you've come, thinking about where you could go next. Or even better, not even worrying about where you're gonna go next. Just take a second to look around, get away from your common everyday habits and routines. Like I said, throw your phone to the side. Just take a second to think. What do we really want to get out of our lives? I know we're all after something. Maybe we want to make connections with people. We want to impress someone, do something great, make a difference. I mean, we all have something that sits at the back of our minds, and that we, even if we're not actively thinking about it, we're going after that every day. And sometimes we don't take any time to stop. And when we do, we just immerse ourselves in the distractions that we're blessed to have. For my one class, we're reading a book on the Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta. And that was in 432 BC is when it started. But I read one line. It was about Athens. So Athens was this one of the first, if not the first, like democratic state. They weren't perfect, but the one general made a speech at a eulogy, actually, for the fallen, kind of similar to the Gettysburg Address. And he talked about just how great and how privileged and blessed they were to be in their country. So their country was honestly, even though it was in existence over 2,400 years ago, it was very similar to our own. He mentioned how people have time for leisurely activity. While they may not be able to do anything they want, they do have independence and they have hobbies. And the one line that stuck out to me was him saying, I hope I can do it justice. I don't remember it exactly, but it was something along the lines of, we're blessed to have, what was it? We're blessed to have the freedom and the leisure, partly through private enterprise, to be able to distract ourselves from what troubles us. So obviously in life there's a lot of things that trouble us, and sometimes we can kind of get caught up in that, and we all have things we have to do. We're all busy to some degree, and for what little free time we have, we usually just spend it distracting ourselves. And I don't think that's a good thing. As you can probably tell, I myself enjoy video games. I spend an insane amount of time on them, more than I should. I enjoy being on my phone. I enjoy listening to music to pass time. Even playing guitar, but when I do, I'm just distracting myself. I'm not really thinking about my life, about where I want to go, or I'm not even doing anything. Like, we don't need to be stressing about our lives, but we also can't just throw them to the side. I mean, that's probably one of my worst habits, I'd say, is just throwing things to the side for later. I've done a lot of good things in my life. I'm only 19, but I've been pretty lucky, and I was lucky enough to grow up in a good environment and to have an appreciation and a love for a lot of the hardships that people don't like. I like to run. I do that for a sport, and I may not be elite at it, but I'm pretty decent. And the main advantage I have over a lot of people is I just enjoy it. Even though I face a lot of setbacks in it, it's something I like to do, and I find peace in it. But I still find peace in other things as well. Like, I used to find it in reading. I used to draw a little. And I actually really used to spend a lot of time thinking and just planning out my life. But I've kind of thrown all of that to the side over the past year or two. And obviously, that's not a good thing. I think sometimes we put too much on our plate, and even if we could handle it, we don't handle it well. So, like I said, I have a lot of things, even unlisted, that I like to do, that I've gotten decent at, or at least was 1 point decent at. And I've just thrown them to the side. I bet a lot of you can relate to that. I mean, I used to, especially during the COVID lockdowns, I had so much free time. I could waste 7 or 8 hours of my day and still be productive in some other hobbies. But now that I'm at college and everything's back to normal and I'm grown up, don't really have enough time for that. So when I do have free time, like I said, I just spend it mindlessly distracting myself, consuming things, not really creating. And even then, I'm not really appreciating things. Like, I never play games like this. I never just walk around and appreciate the environments. Usually, I'm on a quest that I don't even enjoy just to try to get some obscure item I'm never going to use. And I feel like my life is like that a lot too. I'm constantly just, I'm getting by and I'm doing pretty well, but you can't really ever just get by in life. It's always going to catch up to you. And I know that from my experience in learning in school and running. If you don't take enough care of yourself running, even if you do exactly what you need to and only that, you're gonna get injured someday. And I was out of the sport for a while from injuries and neglect, and maybe I just have bad luck. That definitely is part of it, but I consider it a blessing, a sign that maybe I should put more care into it, put more care into myself. Be careful of how I spend my time. Maybe not be sitting around so much every day. And when I am, to be free of distraction, at least for a little while. But I don't even know if I'm gonna upload this, but I just figured wanted to take a game I love, or at least used to love, and actually enjoy it for once. Stop pursuing quests, stop going after an item, just enjoy the game, take in the scenery. It's not always about winning and moving forward and getting a bunch of good things in life, but maybe appreciating what you have a little more can give you all you need. I mean, this is just one small section of the game, and there's a lot to appreciate here. I even passed over a lot, and our lives are the same way. There's so much we can appreciate if we just take a closer look. And even then, I mean, could be reaching here, but you saw how beautiful that this environment looked with that storm. So even when we do go through something tough, like I said, with running, I've really gained an appreciation for it, even though it can be brutal sometimes. And a lot of people just, even if they're good at it, they hate the act of it. But a lot of people don't realize there's plenty of beauty that can be found just even in hardship and in making mistakes. And I think we need to do more of that. We just need to not dread things, not do just what we can to get by, but we need to appreciate things and be curious, be excited to move on to the next chapter of our lives, or maybe pick back up a hobby, or just appreciate an existing one even more. Master a craft, maybe, if you're in college, if you're in a sport, if you're doing something for fun. Get good at it and take care. Like, don't just do it for the sake of it or just to reach the end goal. But do it out of love for it, and really try to appreciate that. Like, I never even noticed these meteors coming down or any of the background environment. But it's beautiful, and I think if we all take the time to look into the corners of our lives and just take a closer look at all we have to be grateful for and all that we should start appreciating more, I think we can really start enjoying our lives a lot more, and I guess we could hopefully live a better life for it. I know that was long, but just figured I'd get that off my chest, take some time to explore and appreciate this environment, and really reflect on my life and take a breather before I go back to college and have a really busy next like 2 to 3 weeks. So hope if anyone heard this that if I do upload it or if I don't, that they learn to be grateful no matter what the situation is. And just, I hope they take a moment and just think about their lives and I don't know. That's it.